Landman Season 2 doesn't conclude with easy answers or comforting resolutions. Instead, it ends with something far more important for the future of the series: confidence. By the time the final episode wraps up, there's a clear sense that the show has finally found its footing again and knows exactly where it wants to go next. After a season that often felt restrained and cautious, the ending doesn't just close a chapter, it opens the door wide for a stronger, more focused Season 3, and that's why it leaves viewers with genuine hope. For much of Season 2, Landman struggled with momentum. The pieces were all there: power struggles, corporate rot, personal fallout, and moral compromise, but the show often seemed hesitant to fully commit to the consequences of those ideas. Conflicts simmered without boiling over. Characters talked around problems instead of confronting them. While that slow burn worked thematically, it also made the middle stretch of the season feel frustratingly stagnant. The finale changes that perception by finally letting pressure turn into action, reframing the entire season as a build-up rather than a misfire. One of the biggest reasons Season 2 ends on such a hopeful note is Tommy's position at the end of it all. For most of the season, Tommy was trapped inside a system that limited his authority while still holding him responsible for its failures. He was constantly fixing problems he didn't create, absorbing blame without control, and navigating MTech's internal dysfunction with one hand tied behind his back. The finale strips that dynamic away. By pushing Tommy toward reclaiming leadership and ownership, the show restores his agency and, with it, the narrative's center of gravity. That shift alone dramatically improves the outlook for Season 3. Landman works best when it's driven by clear authority and clear consequences. When Tommy is empowered, decisions matter more. Risks feel sharper. Failure carries weight. The end of Season 2 makes it clear that the story is no longer about surviving inside someone else's broken system. It's about what happens when Tommy builds something of his own and has to live with every result of that choice. That's a far more compelling direction for the show to take. Another reason the finale inspires optimism is how it resolves, or deliberately refuses to resolve, MTech's storyline. Rather than pretending the company's problems could be neatly fixed, the season ends by acknowledging that some systems are beyond saving. That honesty is refreshing. It reinforces the idea that Season 3 isn't about repair, but reinvention. The collapse of old structures clears space for new conflicts, new rivalries, and new stakes that feel organic rather than recycled. The supporting characters also benefit from where Season 2 leaves off. Relationships that were strained all season finally feel like they're heading toward inevitable confrontation. Trust has been broken too many times to simply be restored, and that tension gives Season 3 a strong emotional foundation. Characters like Cammy, Cooper, and Angela now exist in a world where loyalty is no longer assumed. Everyone has seen what hesitation costs, and that awareness should drive sharper, more decisive behavior moving forward. Season 2's ending also restores the show's sense of danger. Earlier episodes often pulled their punches, keeping violence and fallout at arm's length. The finale reminds viewers that Landman is at its best when actions carry irreversible consequences. The stakes feel real again, not just professionally, but personally. That sense of risk is crucial for a series operating in a neo-Western space, where power is always contested and safety is never guaranteed. What's especially encouraging is how the finale recontextualizes the season's slower moments. In hindsight, the drawn-out tension feels less like wasted time and more like pressure deliberately applied. While the execution wasn't always perfect, the payoff suggests the writers understood where the story needed to land. Season 3 now has the benefit of clarity. It doesn't need to spend time explaining the rules of the world or the limits of the system. Those lessons have already been learned, often painfully. There's also a tonal confidence in the way Season 2 ends. The show no longer feels like it's searching for its identity. It embraces its themes of power, consequence, and moral compromise without apology. That confidence makes a huge difference going forward. When a series knows what it wants to say, it can afford to be bolder, faster, and more ruthless, qualities that Landman is uniquely suited to explore. Season may second not have been flawless, but its ending proves it wasn't wasted. The finale doesn't just salvage the season, It elevates it by setting up a future that feels intentional and exciting. Season 3 now has a clear mission. Explore what happens when ambition replaces survival, when leadership is earned rather than inherited, and when every decision belongs to the person making it. That's why Landman Season 2 ends with high hopes for Season 3. Not because everything is fixed, but because everything finally matters. The board has been reset, the stakes have been raised, and the story is ready to move forward with purpose. If Season 3 builds on this momentum, Landman could finally become the sharp, relentless drama it's been threatening to be all along.